he did kind of lean more towards the side of like, I think this is it for you. You know, he kind of wrote me off like, you're a little bit older. By the time you get back, you're going to be 38.
So great seeing my next guest back in action, and what an opportunity this is, fighting former champion Cody Garbrandt, UFC 296, December 16th. Doesn't get much better than this. It's Brian Boom Kelleher back here on the program. Brian, how are you?
Business is booming, James. How's everything?
Everything's great, man, but not as good as you. I'm so happy to see you back here, man. It's been well documented that the issues you had with your neck and all that stuff. Just sort of maybe summarize kind of what happened, and was there ever a point where you thought this might be the end?
Yeah, so originally, my neck has had issues for years, but I kind of was just training through it, dealing with it, not really thinking too much of it, never got an MRI or anything. And then I was having some weird like stiffness in my neck leading up to my Journey Newsom fight.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just led me to get it checked out just because it felt weird. It felt different, not something I haven't felt. So I got an MRI and fortunately, but unfortunately, I got that MRI through the UFC. So they had seen the results and they saw all the stuff going on in my neck, nerve damage, like nerve compression. There was like disc herniation, disc bulge, all this different stuff. And I didn't know it was that bad. And they pulled my fight right away. As soon as I got to Vegas, they called me and said, listen, we can't let you fight. We saw what's going on in your neck. We got to get you fixed up. So that's when the rug got pulled from underneath me, during fight week, which was heartbreaking. But at the same time, I thought this could be a blessing in disguise that I fix my neck and get, make sure everything's good before I get back in there. And, something catastrophic could have happened to me. You never think that, but it was, in retrospect, I'm like happy that all kind of played out the way it did, because now that I'm all fixed up, I have felt much better than I have in years, with my neck, like nerve pinching and stuff like that's completely gone. And I feel stronger. I feel like there's more pop in that left side of my arm and everything. So I'm feeling good going forward.
Good for you, man. I'm so happy to hear that. It's funny how things like that work out where, again, like it was something you were kind of used to, but it turns out that, it really was that bad and all that. Was there ever that conversation with the doctor where they're like, hey, probably shouldn't be fighting again? Or was it not that serious?
No, it was. So when Hunter Campbell called me directly, I was like, this is weird because I never spoke to him. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. So when he called me directly, he kind of told me the whole spiel, said, listen, our third party specialist saw your neck and we just, I'm for the safety of the company and I can't let you go forward with this. And it was the last fight on my deal and they took care of me, very thankful for the UFC. They helped me with the surgery. I got the best surgeon, hospital special surgeries, but he did kind of lean more towards the side of like, I think this is it for you. He kind of wrote me off like, you're a little bit older. By the time you get back, you're going to be 38. He thought it was going to be like a 2-year layoff. And I had spoken to other fighters that got this done. Charles Rosa was one of them. He got the exact surgery from the same surgeon and everything. He gave me words of encouragement, said, listen, you're going to be fine. Just do everything right. Stay good with the recovery. And my surgeon was like, you're healing up super fast. And it honestly only took me like 3 months to fully recover, which was pretty spectacular. And I was in touch with Hunter and Sean Shelby the whole time. And they were like, listen, there's no guarantees, but like just get fully cleared. And that's the first step. And we'll go from there and try to get our medical team to clear everything too. And I thought, it's going to be hard to get them to be on board with me, especially where I was at in my career. So I thought it could be over and I was nervous about that. And it was long nights, thinking, am I ever going to get back? And then I got fully cleared and Hunter texted me out of the blue and was like, Sean Shelby had your back. He was a man of his word and he got through with the medical team and you're back. So I was like so excited to hear that. Never mind this matchup. I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like this opportunity to come back from all that is the best I could ask for.
How surprised were you to get to fight Cody Garbrandt? A lot of fighters want to have that matchup, just to have that on the resume, fighting a former champ. What was your surprise level getting the fight?
I was pretty surprised because of the whole thing of like not knowing what was going to happen and then getting that name. I was like, man, this is like a complete full circle. Like everything is in front of me now in my control. Like I go and beat a guy like Cody Garbrandt. I pretty much erase my whole past. That's how I'm looking at it. I can kind of almost resurrect myself fully with this win. And, I'm appreciative that I get this kind of chance against a name like him. I mean, I didn't think that, he'd be looking out to fight me, but I heard, that sweepstakes Joe guy, the matchmaker, the new guy they brought in, kind of made this fight, which was pretty cool.
Nice. Well, that's cool. Yeah, he's on your side. Obviously giving you this big fight. We know what Cody's going to do. He's got incredible stand-up. How are you looking at this fight stylistically?
Yeah, for me, I don't want to look at Cody as a guy that kind of is diminished from what he looked like against Cruz. I want to look at him as that guy, that's his potential. That performance against Cruz is the best we're going to see of him. That's the Cody I'm looking for, and I know as of late he's been changing his style a little bit, it seems, a little more wrestling involved. But it's up to me to go in and test his chin and put my hands on him and show him no respect, because I feel like that's my path to victory. He starts to get better as like he starts to swag out in the fights and feel himself and start dancing and moving his feet. And you don't want to let him get there. So I got to be aggressive, keep his back foot on the fence, and land some big shots.
Training camp, what does that look like? Who've been some of the main guys helping you get ready for this fight?
Yeah, so for this training camp, I've honestly been strictly at Long Island MMA. I used to bounce around a lot more and do jiu-jitsu here and then MMA there, but my camp has been phenomenal. I mean, my coach, Brian Nicolino's like set up a camp like specific for me, with all the good fighters at my weight class or 145 showing up to these specific sessions and just grinding for me specifically, doing things that he has game planned for this fight. Doing things that Cody might do in the fight. Everything's geared towards me, which has been the biggest blessing. And I feel like I should have been doing this for a long time, to be honest, because I feel better than ever.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And what about the weight cut? I know when you're off for a bit, it's sometimes tougher to get that weight down. How's all that going?
Yeah, that was a little bit tougher. Like I started out heavier, like 165 or so, like after the surgery. Then, my weight started to drop as I started to pick up the intensity. Now it's all dialed in. I'm a little bit heavier than I was in the past, but as we speak today, I'm right on target to show up fight week around 150, 149. I'll be good.
There you go. And who's making the trip with you as far as your corner? Who'll be in the cage with you?
Yeah, so we got my brother. He's always been with me. My coach, Brian Nicolino, he's my head coach. And then one of my training partners, Ashika Jim, he fought on the Contender Series.
Yep.
He's one of my main training partners. He'll be there as well.
That's great. And how's this one playing out on December 16th? How do you see it going down?
Man, I think if I just believe in myself and be aggressive and get in his face, like if I land some heavy shots, I feel like I can hurt him. He's been hurt by a lot of guys as of late, especially even Kai Kara-France being a 25er. He does have good hands, but I feel like I hit harder than him. If I can land some shots, we'll see him wobble, and we'll finish it from there.
You were talking earlier about how this is another contract for you. Is it just a couple fights, or like how's the new contract work? Because you said you weren't sure if you were going to get re-signed.
Yeah, no. So how this worked was they pretty much just reset me to where I was, and so it's the last fight on that previous contract.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of like it's a scary spot, but it's also the best spot. Coming off of a winning, of course, against Cody, it's like leverage-wise, couldn't ask for a better place.
That's great. USADA's leaving the UFC. They're getting a new body in right now. What did you make of that news? And what was your overall experience with USADA?
I'm all natty. Look at the shirt.
I know, 100%. Yeah.
All natty, always. I mean, I think USADA's done a good job at being, strict and random with their testing. I hope the next governing body does that. I don't know what differences are going to take place and how it's going to change, because the fighters don't have much say, unfortunately. But I hope that, the fighters do get a little bit of say in how things go and the way they go about it. I mean, I know that testing guys on fight day and on weigh-in day is just not a good thing. We got to get mentally dialed in, and you got random guys showing up, at your hotel room on fight day. I've had it happen to me, and it could affect you. It's the biggest day of your life, and you're dealing with someone hanging out with you for an hour or two if you can't go to the bathroom. So I like the idea of random testing, though, showing up, whenever at your house, because that's the only way to kind of keep a clean sport. So hopefully they stay dialed in with that.
You've been watching the New York Islanders this season. What are your overall thoughts? We're not at the 20 game mark yet, so can't really say too much. But what are your thoughts on the Islanders this season?
Yeah, I mean, so far it's looked pretty good. I think we've done a good job. We always have issues on the power play. I feel like we could take a little bit more aggressive stance on power plays. But Barzell looks good always, of course. And the goalies are good. But this year it seems like even higher scoring games than as of like the previous years. So I don't know what that's about, but I'm confident we'll be a playoff team. I think we'll definitely have a good winning record. So I'm looking forward to that.
What have you made of Bo Horvat? Of course, from my Vancouver Canucks, he got traded last year. Has he fit in well with the team? It seems like he's doing quite well over there.
No, yeah, he's definitely a good fit. I think he's a really smart player. He's good at moving the puck. He's a fast skater. He keeps his head up at all times. I think he's a good mix in with his line. I do miss Beauvillier though. I think Beauvillier is like his hustle is hard to match. Like that
Right.
guy forechecks like no other. So it's always good to have him too.
Yeah, well, he's a free agent at the end of the season, so maybe he'll come back. We'll see if the Canucks don't re-sign him or trade him. Did you know the Golden Knights are playing during your fight week? I don't know if you were planning on going to the games at all.
No, I didn't know that, but I would love to attend one of their hockey games. I know the energy in that crowd.
It's the bet, Brian. I'm telling you this. Like I have been, I'm obviously born and raised, played hockey my whole life. It is probably the best atmosphere I've ever been to in a hockey arena. Like I can't describe how good it is. I've been to like 3 games, amazing. So if you get the chance to go, even if it's like a standing seat, I would recommend going because it's that good. Even Aljamain Sterling went and he thought it was awesome too. So.
Oh yeah, the energy looks amazing over there. So I definitely got to try to check that out. Fight week for sure.
There you go. And we got to check you out, man. UFC 296, December 16th. This is like the most stacked card this year. It's going to be great. Anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, man? Any sponsors, any social media you want to mention? I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, I got a couple sponsors. Natty, their apparel. They've been hooking me up. We got CBD Living. We got Hayabusa for all my gear for training camp. And we got Extend, which is my supplement sponsor. Shout out to those guys. And thanks a lot. Appreciate it.